He walks through the train station, lost in thought. He seems to be waiting for someone. A girl with a guitar case sits on a nearby bench looking at her phone. Is she the one he's waiting for? He sees the girl with the guitar case again. He's run into her many times already. He crosses his arms, slouching against the wall. She's going to be late again today. The train arrives at the station. Will she finally appear on this train today? He stares at the girl with the guitar case. He wonders if she's a music major. Is that why she always has the guitar? He wonders if she's in a band. Lost in thought, he realizes they made eye contact. I was staring like a pervert. He thinks it's just a coincidence that they keep meeting. Maybe he is just overthinking things. He sighs and decides to put on his headphones. Should I listen to this song again today? He presses play on the song and starts to smile. Kaya, this song is so good. He reflects on how great the song is, but wishes someone knew it too. He wonders why the song sounds muffled and if his cheap earphones broke already. He turns up the volume. He cranks up the volume on his phone. The music notes fill his head. Suddenly, the girl with the guitar case taps him on the shoulder. Excuse me. He turns around, startled, and replies, yes. The girl stares at him. Could you turn down your phone's volume? He realizes his earphones weren't paired. Ah, these cheap earphones again. The girl looks annoyed. I can hear it from over there. She asks if he likes the song playing from his phone. He looks surprised and answers yes. She recognizes the song he's playing and says, I like that song too. He is flustered, blushing hard because she likes the same song as him. What is happening? He is extremely excited that she knows the song. Do you like Long Afternoon too? Asks excitedly. He shouts excitedly, wow, amazing, I've never met anyone who likes Long Afternoon. The panel shows he is an artist who doesn't reveal himself, only his art. His online name is Kinohu. He smiles at her, a knowing glint in his eye. That's my song. She ponders if Kinohu should reveal his face. She'd like to meet him as a fan. She thinks to herself that she likes Long Afternoon just the way it is. The girl asks the man if they have met at the station before. This isn't a coincidence anymore. He's unsure how to act, deciding to play it cool. Let's just pretend we don't know each other. She replies, looking to the side with a smirk, I thought you knew already. She confronts him, realizing he's always been staring at her. Isn't that right? His face is red with embarrassment. He looks away as sparkles surround him. He thinks no way, coming to the realization that she knew all along. She knew. He thinks about all the times he's seen her at the train station too. He panics, realizing she knew his secret all along. I'm doomed, what's going on? At work, his coworker frantically asks what to do about a raiding attack. He's flustered by his paranoia. She teases him, smiling, and asks, stalker, what's that all of a sudden? He doesn't know how to respond to her playful accusation. The cafe owner Oyuju reassures him, saying the girl knew he was looking at her. Oyuju advises the man to talk to the girl. Maybe a romance. He thinks romance is absurd. Oyuju asks why, saying that he is aware of her. He explains to Oyuju that he can't like anyone right now, focused on work and graduation. He's just curious about her. The cafe owner teases him, why does she go home late, what does she do? Oyuju says romance can start from staring. The man rejects it, telling her to get to work. At the cafe, the man says yes. After Oyuju suggests he wonders if she'll take the last train again today. He needs to clear up the misunderstanding. He gets excited, thinking he wants a long afternoon chat with her. It's rare to find someone like her. He pictures her thinking of him, liking Long Afternoon in the same way. Suddenly, he wakes up on the floor, realizing he fell asleep on the job again. The man standing next to the bench looks over, irritated by the sleeping man. Why is this guy sleeping here? He sadly realizes he can't sit beside her to chat and will study standing. He is dejected. He thinks it's weird to force a conversation. He just wants to avoid misunderstandings with her today. She asks him if he really intends to wait standing. He absent-mindedly answers her question, still lost in thought. Yes. He looks around, realizing the train is late and all the seats are taken. The girl asks, what are you saying? She invites him to sit with her. There's one right here next to me. He nervously waits at the station until the last train comes. Will she be there? This is a story of finding someone who enjoys what you do and who you are. The man thinks next seat while recalling when they were close. She looked so free and confident. He thinks to himself, back then was back then and now is now. He decides he's just sitting for a moment. He wonders this distance should be okay. He then asks her, heading home late again today. She looks down at him with a smile. Is this the start of something? He asks if she always takes the bus at this hour. She says she works at a cafe. He asks her if she's still a university student. She confirms, saying she's in her 4th year. He asks if she's heading home late from work. She responds, no, I just like hanging out with men with peculiar tastes. She says she deals with unique clients before going home. The man looks shocked. Hardcore, what does that even mean? She smirks the words know about, hovering mysteriously above her head. She elaborates, I mean a music studio, practice and recording rooms. She explains she's a studio manager, often working late. He awkwardly says, oh, I see. He panics, exclaiming he wasn't thinking anything of it. She teases him, asking, really, for real? He realizes he's being led along. He nervously asks, how did you know about long afternoon? She nonchalantly says she juggles both work and studying. He thinks she shouldn't have time to explore music. He wonders how she found him. Living alone, he felt lonely and decided to listen to some music to cheer himself up. He plays Long Afternoon on his phone. That's when I stumbled upon him, she thinks. At first, the melody was good. She continues, the more I listened, the more I loved everything about it. She asks him what his favorite song from Long Afternoon is. He thinks he doesn't have many tracks. She says she likes Dense Planet. She excitedly talks about how Long Afternoon is brilliant with electronic instruments. She asks for his opinion. She grins, finding his flustered state amusing. As the train arrives, he realizes how late it is. He thinks, oh, it's already this late. She brings up what he said earlier, her gaze intense and unwavering. He feels cornered. She starts singing Let It Be, changing the subject entirely. She says Long Afternoon would be happy to hear that. He laughs nervously, asking, "Are really?" He steels himself. "Could you tell me your name too?" he asks her. Shin Hae-in reveals her name, teasing him. "Make sure to say hi if we meet again." The train arrives. She smiles and waves goodbye, saying, "Yes, see you next time." Hae-in sighs, exhausted from her long day. She finally arrives at her apartment building, ready to unwind after a day of managing the studio. Back in her apartment, Hae-in relaxes on her bed after a long day. She wonders, Lee Yo-won was it? Hae-in is on the train alone. She thinks, that guy, referring to Lee Yo-won. She turns to leave. An older man snores loudly, breaking the silence. He notices a wallet on the floor. Did a drunk guy drop it? He wonders. He picks it up. Hae-in watches as the man picks up the wallet. He could have just placed it nearby, but he went and put it in his pocket. Even if he seems like a pickpocket, he's naive but inherently a good person. Hae-in reflects on his actions, thinking, I knew he was kind. Back in his room, Lee Yo-won can't believe someone is such a big fan of Long Afternoon. Hae-in wonders if Yo-won would like her if he knew she was Long Afternoon. Hae-in walks towards the front of her school, recalling her encounter with Lee Yo-won on the train. The sound of her tapping vibrates through the space, like she's texting. Back in her room, Hae-in feels annoyed, thinking about something she doesn't want to remember. Anyway, people who like Long Afternoon. Hae-in smiles softly, deciding to keep her identity a secret for now. She'll be Long Afternoon's fan. Hae-in looks at a post from Kim Oh-woo. It doesn't matter if Kim Oh takes the spotlight. She thinks, smiling, she's content being herself. Hae-in rests after her long days at school and at the studio. The comic is titled A Person Who Likes Cheering. The title of the first chapter is My Bias Gets on the Last Train. Hae-in is sitting at her desk. She looks at her drawing and wonders if she should post it. Hae-in checks out of the music studio's room A as she walks. She hears people talk about the room's amazing sound. The man asks if he can make another reservation for room A next Monday. Hae-in smiles, yes, the wheels turning. The man asks Hae-in for her number or Instagram. He has a blush on his face. The man finally builds up the courage to say, I've been wanting to message you. Haein is surprised and apologizes. The man is clearly flustered after Haein's response. Someone laughs at him, saying, "I told you it wouldn't work," Haein thinks to herself. Haein grabs a spray bottle and thinks, "Let's just clean up." She's alone in music studio room A. Haein is cleaning room A when someone calls her name. It's her uncle, who says rehearsal was simple today. Hyunsung teases Haein, asking why she disliked the guy from earlier. He thought that guy was her type. "Oh, you saw," Haein thinks. Hyunsung defends himself, saying he wasn't spying but just saw it by accident. He asks why she didn't give him her number. Haein thinks that you can't see someone's true face, whether it's text or call. Besides, that band isn't my style. Hyunsung tells Haein that the 10 o'clock booking was cancelled. She can head home after cleaning. Hyunsung calls out to Haein and suddenly thrusts a shopping bag at her. "Here, take this," he says. Haein holds the gift bag, confused. Hyunsung explains it's White Day and the drink is popular on social media. Haein asks her uncle if she can practice guitar before leaving. Hyunsung tells her to do whatever she wants. Across the city, the cafe where Kinohu works is now empty for the night. The cafe owner smiles and tells Kinohu, "Oh, tilde, good job, go ahead." He happily thinks to himself, "Have a romantic journey home today." At the train station, Kinohu mutters, "It's chaotic." He looks at his phone. Kinohu sits and reads, thinking, "I was supposed to raise my language scores over vacation, but..." He is still struggling with it. Kinohu calls out Hyun-si. Hyun replies with a smile, "Yes, hello." Kinohu's eyes widen in surprise. Kinohu notices Haein is carrying a gift bag. He realizes it's White Day today. "I got a gift," he says. Kinohu, sitting near Haein on the bench, thinks she must be popular. Kinohu thinks about Haein getting gifts. He asks, "Studying must be tough, isn't it?" She replies, "Yes." Haein hands Kinohu the gift bag and says, "Eat this and get some energy." Kinohu, surprised by Haein's generosity, asks, "Isn't this something you got?" Kinohu awkwardly says, "I don't really like sweets." He tells her to just take it. Haein looks at Kinohu. "A man," she thinks. "Yes, well, on White Day a man gives gifts to a woman," she continues to think. She says, "This is from my uncle, you know." Kinohu is shocked by Haein's comment and asks if she's regifting. "Uncle," he thinks. Haein thinks Kinohu is a fool. "I haven't tried it, so I don't know, but it's handmade caramel." Kinohu holds a caramel, thinking he has never seen this handmade candy before. "Haein, take a few," he says. Haein thinks that she has to tell Kinohu what she thinks, or he might be upset. She asks him to take one. Haein opens her mouth and lets out an "ah" tilde. Kinohu exclaims, "You want me to feed you?" Kinohu explains that he was tuning the guitar. His hands are greasy. Kinohu, flustered, says, "Ah, just feed it to me." Haein replies to him, "Sure." Kinohu holds the caramel out to Haein, trying to pass it back to her. Haein shoves the caramel into her mouth. Kinohu asks, "What's going on?" then zooms in to show Haein eating. Haein reacts to the sweetness, laughing. Kinohu, surprised, asks if it's that sweet. "Yes, try it," she insists. Kinohu exclaims, "Wow, it's really sweet." Haein agrees, saying it almost hurts your head. Haein smiles to herself, bitter tea. Kinohu agrees with Haein. "You're right," he exclaims, now enjoying the handmade caramel. She laughs and offers another. The scene shifts to Haein's apartment. It shows the kitchen and appliances in full view. Back at his apartment, Kinohu lies in bed, waking up. He thinks. Kinohu wakes up and thinks, what is this? It feels like he only slept for 30 minutes. Kinohu checks his phone, wondering if his friend will be late again. Kinohu remembers Haein's gift of caramel. He thinks, "The caramel Haein gave me. I still have some." Kinohu eats the caramel, surprised by the flavor. "It's so sweet, it woke up my sleepy brain." Kinohu is now awake and ready to start the day. He eats the caramel Haein gave him. Kinohu is shocked and exclaims. He checks his phone and sees that Long Afternoon has a new update. The cafe worker announces, "Customer 22, your iced Americano and green grape ade are ready." The cafe is bustling as another order is called out. "Customer 34, your 2 cafe mochas are ready." A voice echoes, "Thank you, come again." Yeon seems cheerful as she washes dishes. The owner asks if something good happened. Yeon exclaims with excitement, yes, my favorite musician updated their Instagram. Oyuju wonders, what Instagram? Yeon wonders what kind of song he will release this time. He is excited just imagining it. Oyuju asks, was it something romantic? I thought something romantic had happened. Romantic, she questions further. Yeon denies any feelings, but then realizes he hasn't seen her lately. He begins to wonder about it now. Yeon remembers, we have been getting a little closer recently. Yeon, flustered, wonders if it's okay to think they are getting closer. Oyuju bombards Yeon, how did you exchange names? Did she tell you first? Yeon is flustered imagining the cliché scene, complete with dramatic introductions. Oyuju is eager to hear what happened next. Oyuju asks if they had a meal or drinks as a thank you gift. That's it, Yeon exclaims. Oyuju thinks the story is boring and wants a better drinking story. Yeon declines to share anything further, saying it's personal. The new customer asks for a cappuccino to go if possible. Yeon stares intently. Yeon tells the customer they'll call their number when it's ready. He stares at the customer, feeling like he's seen him before. Yeon tries to place the customer. Oyuju wonders who he is thinking of, curious about the customer. Yeon recognizes the customer. It's Sung Hyunyi. He can't believe his favorite singer is at the cafe. Why? Yeon is shocked that Sung Hyunyi is here. He wants to keep his cool. Oyuju reveals Sung Hyunyi is a regular. She didn't know at first though. Yeon hands Sung Hyunyi his cappuccino. He happily says thank you, come again. He is still starstruck. Sung Hyunyi leaves the cafe. He gets into his car and drives off into the night. Sung Hyunyi enjoys his coffee. He thinks to himself long afternoon as he plays the song on his phone. Sung Hyunyi reflects on his work as the song plays. He writes pretty interesting songs, doesn't he? Sung Hyunyi thinks to himself that his singing style is unique. He considers sending Yeon a direct message. Sung Hyunyi drives away thinking it would be great to collaborate. Yeon walks to work and hopes to meet Shin Hae-in today. He hopes she saw the Instagram update too. Yeon wants to gush about the hints in Sung Hyunyi's Instagram post. He thinks about being open with people. Yeon waits at the train station, a flurry of thoughts racing through his mind. He can't wait to talk about Sung Hyunyi's post with Shin Hae-in. Yeon realizes Shin Hae-in isn't at the train station. He hasn't seen her since White Day. Is she avoiding him? Yeon wonders if Shin Hae-in hated his reaction to the White Day gift. He mumbles, did I just have high hopes for nothing? Yeon sees Shin Hae-in and calls out her name in surprise. She turns and asks what's disappointing him. She continues, disappointed about not getting to see me. Yeon stutters, completely caught off guard by her question. Shin Hae-in giggles as Yeon stutters, suddenly noticing how different she seems today. Huh, well, kind of. Yeon asks if she's drunk and Shin Hae-in laughs, admitting she's obvious. She says she went to an izakaya alone. Shin Hae-in explains she had a little to celebrate. Yeon smiles, says that's great, then asks what she was working on. Yeon flinches at Shin Hae-in's words, surprised by her straightforwardness. He thinks her smile is cute. Yeon is flustered, thinking drunk Hae-in is the best, she really is beautiful. He internally tells himself to focus. Yeon wonders if Sung Hyunyi finally uploaded long afternoon to his Instagram. A train arriving cuts off his thoughts. Yeon exclaims they have to part ways now. He didn't get to say half of what he wanted. He wonders if he walked too slowly. Yeon panics, his mind racing with what do I do, what do I do? Hae-in stares, waiting for a response. Yeon is determined to tell Hae-in everything he's been wanting to say. He calls out to her as the train arrives. Yeon, encouraged, asks Shin Hae-in if she wants to grab another drink together. Hae-in looks surprised by the invitation. Shin Hae-in looks surprised, pausing as she considers Yeon's invitation. Right now, the last train arrives. This is the story of people that like rock bands and all the chaos around them. Yeon is in disbelief at what he is saying. He feels like a stranger hitting on someone in the street. Let's hang out. Yeon apologizes to Shin Hae-in, embarrassed by his forwardness. Flustered, he questions what he just said to her. Yeon, feeling the day shouldn't end here, awkwardly invites her for drinks. So, let's drink together. Yeon is still reeling from his suggestion to hang out. He weakly says, yeah. A train arrives, its doors opening to reveal a mostly empty carriage. Yeon and Shin Hae-in sit together on the train, the silence thick with awkwardness. Every time the subway shakes. Yeon's shoulder brushes against Shin Hae-in's. He blushes, wondering why he's so excited by such a small thing. Shin Hae-in asks Yeon where he lives. He replies it's near Nam-dong Station. Shin Hae-in, blushing, says she will take a taxi home instead. Yeon thinks he can handle paying for the taxi as an adult. Shin Hae-in reassures him it's okay. Shin Hae-in playfully states that he'll have to take care of her if she gets drunk. Yeon is surprised by her comment. Shin Hae-in, in a moment of levity, says, "I sleep naked." Shin Hae-in smirks, seeing Yeon's reaction to her joke. She says, "Just kidding." As they exit the station, Shin Hae-in asks if this is Yeon's neighborhood. He confirms, mentioning it's close to his apartment. Yeon, feeling bold, suggests grabbing drinks nearby, mentioning a familiar draft beer place. Shin Hae-in smiles, agreeing that it sounds good. They arrive at the draft beer place only to find it's closed. Yeon apologizes for not knowing it was closed. Yeon, determined to find another place, pulls out his phone. What should I do? Yeon worries about finding a good spot, using his phone to search. Suddenly he declares, "I have a good idea." Shin Hae-in points out that it's getting late, only one place remains where they can grab a drink. Is your place? Shin Hae-in asks, "What do you think?" Yeon, surprised by her question, is lost for words. He exclaims, "No way." They arrive at Shin Hae-in's studio. She observes with surprise how clean it is for a studio. Shin Hae-in jokingly reflects on the studio being clean, then asks Yeon one more question. Shin Hae-in boldly asks Yeon if he has a girlfriend, leaving him speechless. He nervously wonders why she asked. Shin Hae-in sits down and says that it would be a misunderstanding if he had a girlfriend. Yeon replies, "I'm single." Hae-in laughs, agreeing it's for the best. She wants to drink without worries. Yeon is shocked at her statement, but Shin Hae-in has a boyfriend named Liam. Shin Hae-in says that he's good at singing and fighting. Then isn't it wrong for us to drink alone together? Shin Hae-in laughs at Yeon's reaction, claiming it was just a joke. Yeon clicks his tongue. She thinks he is like a celebrity. Shin Hae-in smiles, holding a can of beer, and says, "I thought Yeon knew music well." Yeon realizes that Shin Hae-in's joke went over his head. He is worried he hurt her feelings. Shin Hae-in holds up a can of beer. "Then let's cheers," she says with a smile. Hae-in smiles with a can of beer in her hand. Yeon, holding his beer, hopes this night will end without any trouble. They clink the beer cans together in a cheer. Shin Hae-in says, "No, I really don't." Yeon realizes Yukim dropped a hint on Instagram. It means the new song, Long Afternoon, will be out in April. The panels tease that a ukulele or acoustic guitar will be featured in the new song in April. Yeon says that he didn't put a secret meaning into his photo, but he's happy for the clue. Shin Hae-in thinks maybe she should sign a distribution deal for her new song. But do you know? Shin Hae-in stares at Yeon with a straight face, awaiting his reaction to her statement. Yeon says that Shin Hae-in's voice is like Long Afternoon. Shin Hae-in responds that her voice is husky. Shin Hae-in notices how much Yeon likes Long Afternoon. She didn't expect him to know her music well. Shin Hae-in jokes that they talked about Long Afternoon the entire time they were drinking together. "Did I bore you?" Shin Hae-in says, "So feel free to keep talking," but looking at Yeon expectantly. Shin Hae-in is reclining back and asks if that is okay. Yeon is flustered by Shin Hae-in, now reclining, says, "I'll listen to you talk," and then, waiting for Yeon's response. Shin Hae-in jokes about falling asleep, then asks if she can sleep at Yeon's place. Hae-in rests on the bed as Yeon sits on the floor. "Is that so?" Yeon curiously questions. Hae-in leans closer, a mischievous glint in her eyes as she asks if Yeon minds her staying. Yeon looks flustered, nervously laughing and asking if she's joking. Yeon, flustered, tells Hae-in not to tease him like that again. Hae-in looks up and asks if he's serious. Hae-in asks if it is up to Yeon to decide. "If you say stay, then it's serious." Hae-in continues to stare, her coy smile never faltering as she waits for Yeon's answer. Hae-in declares she's staying anyway. She adds that tomorrow is a day off. There's still so much to talk about. Heian removes her belt, a playful smirk graces her face. Yaon is shocked and asks what she's doing. Yaon is flustered by her sudden actions. Heian responds that she only unbuttoned her pants. Heian casually states that she only unbuttoned her pants to relax. Yaon, flustered by Heian's teasing, stutters, "Would you rather change into something else?" Heian casually suggests that Yaon could wear something looser for comfort. She clicks her tongue and holds up the empty can of beer. It's all gone. Heian holds up the empty can, declaring she drank it all. Yaon is flustered and offers to buy more beer. Yaon tells Heian to change while he grabs more beer. He asks her if she needs anything else. Heian says she has everything she needs, but asks Yaon to buy her one more thing. She says the date is getting closer. Heian realizes she needs something but didn't bring it. Yaon looks flustered as he promises to pay her back later. Yaon arrives at the convenience store, still blushing from Heian's earlier teasing. Yaon nervously grabs pads in the store, internally debating his purchase. He decides that he cannot ask for help now. Yaon stares at the pads, his face still red from Heian's teasing earlier. Yaon's face is overcome with a blush as he realizes what Heian meant by one more thing. Yaon sees condoms in the store, then yells in his head at himself. Yaon thinks about how attractive and nice Heian is, a reason why he's buying them. Yaon calms down, reminding himself to take things slow. He doesn't want to be rejected again like before. Yaon picks up a box of condoms, thinking if Heian takes the initiative, he can't refuse. Yaon, flustered, struggles to stand after imagining the possibilities with Heian. Ugh, damn. Yaon returns to the room, a bag clutched in his hand, face flushed. He announces his return, calling out, "Heian, I'm back." Yaon, bag in hand, returns to the room, calling out Heian's name with a flustered look. Heian. Yaon wonders if Heian is asleep. He recalls she mentioned something on her mind recently. Yaon looks at Heian and thinks she looks peaceful asleep. He quietly says her name. Yaon tells Heian to wake up for a second. He says he'll cover her with the blanket or she'll catch a cold. Heian suddenly kisses Yaon. He freezes, face burning, as he yells in his head for her to wait a second. Heian says that Yaon is her type, with a flustered Yaon returning the gaze. Yaon, his face bright red, still can't believe Heian thinks he's so cool. So cool. Yaon is utterly shocked after the kiss. He wonders if Heian said that while she was still half asleep. Yaon nearly fell on Heian, thinking how soft her fingers felt on his neck. Yaon, remembering everything that happened with Heian, thinks he almost lost his reason because of her. Yaon, lying awake, admits he wouldn't have been able to push her away. He can't stop his feeling. The next morning, Yaon sits on the bed, dazed. The events of last night replay in his head. Yaon wakes up, groaning about his neck pain. He wonders where Heian has disappeared to. Yaon is sitting up on the couch. He wonders if Heian went to the bathroom. Yaon wakes up to find Heian gone. He notices a note left behind by her. Yaon picks up Heian's clothes and sees the box of condoms. Did she even take out the trash? Yaon finds a card on the floor with a heart on it. Why is this here? Yaon picks up the box of condoms. He remembers he bought them yesterday. Did I actually buy this? Yaon puts the pads and beer in the basket, continuing to browse the aisle. Yaon stares at the box of condoms. I probably won't need it. Yaon's face is red as he checks out the condoms and beer. I need to be prepared for that moment. Yaon sits on the floor in shock, remembering the condoms he bought earlier. Heian must have seen this, right? Yaon falls to the floor as he thinks Heian must think he's a pervert. Yaon is back in the train station. He calls out to Heian and is surprised to see her again. Heian waits at the train station, holding her phone while sitting on the bench. She is waiting to take the last train with Yaon. Heian greets Yaon at the train station, a guitar case beside her. She states they need to talk. He's flustered, red-faced, unsure of what to say or do next with her nearby. He tries to play it cool, claiming he needed it for a school assignment. Yaon grins widely, claiming that carrying it helps with exams, a superstition. He stammers, flustered, claiming it was an accident while buying vitamins. He's firm in his decision. Honesty is the best path, even if it means facing her disapproval. Before he can apologize, Heian interrupts him, asking if she can speak first. He looks at her and nervously says she can speak first. Heian pauses with a serious look, claims she has something to say. Heian states that she plans to keep some distance from Yeon. Startled, he asks her, why? She continues, admitting she feels no tension around Yeon, even when drunk. Heian recalls her youth, mentioning hanging out with her uncle's bandmates and discussing music. She claims she crossed a line and needs distance. Yeon is left speechless, wondering what she means. Confused and embarrassed, Yeon blurts out, "The condoms I bought," completely revealing what he bought for Heian. Heian smirks, realizing Yeon was bothered by her confession after all. She laughs, enjoying his flustered state. Heian replies with a smirk, "Though I didn't expect you'd consider a one-night stand tilde." He's flustered and apologizes, "I really didn't suggest drinking for a one-night stand." He wonders what she's thinking as Heian begins to explain her reasoning. Then, Heian claims she is too unbearable. Confused, Yeon asks her what she means by that statement. Heian thinks back to the night in question. She barged into Yeon's apartment uninvited to drink. Heian is blushing, covering her mouth, admitting everything she did was unbearable. Yeon stutters, realizing Heian knows about the condoms he bought. Heian admits she felt bad after waking up from her drunken state. Heian's words trigger memories. He remembers her drunkenly confessing and running away, apologizing afterwards. Heian remembers how Yeon never cared about what others thought of him, making this apology feel surreal. Heian claims she finds his flustered side so cute, while finding her confession amusing. Yeon is flustered, trying hard to not laugh. Heian looks at him, confused. She explains she wants distance because of her past actions. She worries about repeating them if they remain close. He shouts in disbelief, completely mortified by the misunderstanding, "That's not okay." Embarrassed by his own outburst, Yeon questions, "Why not?" trying to understand Heian's reasoning. Overwhelmed, Yeon stutters, trying to change the subject. He mentions a new song from their favorite band, Long Afternoon. Heian is caught off guard. Heian stares intently at Yeon, admitting she might do something stupid if they stay close, especially with him. Yeon continues, his voice strained, declaring he can handle any rude actions from her. He's serious about this. He admits to accepting even her mischievous jokes and wild, drunken antics. He pleads with her not to distance herself. Heian at the train station thinks about the awkward situation, awaiting the next train. Caught off guard, Yeon asks, "What?" Heian replies with, "Then can I pick the snacks next time?" Heian proposes a drinking session at his place and she will pick the snacks. Yeon eagerly agrees. Heian is amused, grinning and thinking about her next move in their game. Heian teasingly tells Yeon to keep it safe, implying they might need it soon. He wonders what she means. Heian is shocked when Yeon reveals he bought her a heart-shaped chocolate. She thinks back to what she might have drunkenly asked for, the beer, of course. The hallway to Heian's music studio room seems quieter than usual. Heian arrives at her music studio, finally taking off her jacket after the awkward exchange with Yeon. She sighs in relief in her room, glad Yeon didn't get upset at her. Heian pauses, thinking of how Yeon accepted her actions and drunken state. She recalls his forgiveness after she kissed him that night. Heian is mortified, realizing her embarrassing history isn't going anywhere soon. Heian rolls around, realizing how perverted she must have looked to Yeon. Heian wonders what could have happened if she hadn't fallen asleep that night. Maybe things would be different. Heian is lying in bed, blushing. She thinks about how things could have changed that fateful night. We would've. Heian yells in frustration into her pillow, mortified by her own past actions. She's frustrated by her thoughts, face red, hitting her pillow with embarrassment. She remembers a melody she sketched, planning to work on it soon. Heian then sees a DM and wonders who sent it. Heian scrolls through her phone. She asks herself if it's Yeon's real account. Heian stares at her phone, reading a message that seems unreal. Is this really Sung Hyun-yi? Shin Heian is seen carrying her guitar at the train station. She likes practicing other things. Heian is seen in the music studio practicing with her guitar, preparing for her next session. Heian strums her guitar, messing up the chords again. She sighs in frustration and says, damn. Heian reads the message from Sung Hyunyi offering a collaboration. She overthinks it, still unsure of what to do. She mulls over Sung Hyunyi's collaboration offer, playing her guitar. Someone knocks on the studio door. Heian replies, yes, come in. It's her uncle Hyunsung. Hyunsung asks if she is still practicing. Heian replies that she is about to finish. He is ordering dinner held tteokbokki. Hyunsung asks if she's having something spicy for dinner. Heian didn't plan for this, but she is totally down. Heian eats the spicy tteokbokki, her cheeks flushed. So delicious, tteokbokki is perfect when you're stressed. Hyunsung calls Heian to eat, pointing at the tteokbokki. It's going to get cold. Heian takes a bite of the tteokbokki. After chewing, she wonders, what should I do? Heian thinks replying late would be rude and needs to decide quickly. What, is it too bland? Heian's head is still spinning. Actually, yesterday, Seong Hyunyi suggested a collaboration. Hyunsung thinks that's a great opportunity. He considers the matter further. Heian responds, well. Hyunsung notices her hesitation. Did he make unreasonable demands on you? Heian thinks it's not that he made demands, but he is a really successful musician. Hyunsung says, you're worried your face might get recognized, right? Spotlight too. Heian replies, yeah, kind of. Hyunsung thinks Heian worries too much. I wish I could encourage her more. The pain Heian suffered still haunts her. The scars she carries are still hurting her now. She is still in pain. Heian is crying, but she knows something is still there within her. But on the other hand, Hyunsung hopes she overcomes her pain and can finally spread her wings again. Hyunsung thinks Sung Hyunyi is a talented artist. He suggests Heian meet up with him and talk things out. Heian ponders that even without a collab, this opportunity could lead to something. Hyunsung says, we could promote the studio. An exterior shot of city buildings as an unknown person thinks, that would be false advertising. She continues, saying she spent the whole day thinking about it. She was supposed to adjust her guitar line today. Heian is still unsure and wonders, but how do celebrities do it? Heian thinks, how do the rock stars I love endure people's judgment and live? Heian wonders how much courage it takes to overcome the pressure, if only. Hyunsung gently touches his face, a memory surfacing of Heian's hardship. Heian arrives at the train station. Yeon is standing right there and enthusiastically calls her name. The man states there was a special employment program today. A man asks Heian to see her brochure. She hands it over, saying it's nothing special. Wow. She thinks about the proposal and all the things she has to do. Wanna try something? Yeon is surprised as the girl hands him a brochure. What is it? The woman thinks about interviews and gazes. Yeon, standing beside her, wonders how he will do that here. The woman explains the rules of her proposal. It's simple, she says, got it. Yeon asks if she wants to do it here, stating that it's a bit embarrassing. He says no one is around right now. The woman responds to Yeon, then let's just make it quick. She smiles and says, okay, let's start then. The man sits at the train station again. He looks down at his lap. The man stares forward, observing Heian's determined expression. He hasn't seen her this serious in a long time. He assumes Heian is currently performing at her best in the interview room. Meanwhile, Yeon waits nervously in the interview room for his turn. He really wants to see Heian. He's nervous, caught off guard by her directness. Heian smiles softly, ready to ask her question. Heian asks a very bold question to Yeon. When was your last kiss? Yeon is baffled by the question, which company asks something like that personal. He rants about black companies and reports to the ministry. He decides against going forward with the interview. She hands over what she calls the interview fee. Here, take it, it's my lucky charm. The man asks, what's this? She explains it's a guitar pick she uses for her electric guitar. He looks at Hayen's guitar pick. Hayen's guitar pick. He gives it back to her. Thanks, he smiles as Hayen accepts it. She thinks, I'll definitely bring it to my interview. Yeon is shocked. What's really? Back in the studio, Hayen stands by the microphone. She's really contemplating the collab. Hayen is in the studio at her computer when she gets a message. Ding. Hayen is adjusting her glasses. The earlier test interview gives her confidence. Hayen is texting Kim Oh-hoo again. She tells him, I'll think about it after the interview. The title card displays My Bias Gets on the Last Train, hinting at the main topic. 9 people who like artists are the focus of this story. Shin Hae-in confirms she's at the correct building and wonders which floor the music studio is on. Someone approaches her. The approaching man recognizes Hae-in's taste in music. He introduces himself as Sung Hyun-yi and asks if the studio was difficult to find. Hyun-yi is relieved she made it. He admits he gets lost in the alleys, asking if she came alone. Hae-in realizes Hyun-yi mostly works alone, but he mentions he has a drummer who is a student. Hyun-yi ponders Hae-in's skills, calling her a band and solo artist. He invites her inside to chat and asks for her name. Hyun-yi asks if he can keep calling her Long Afternoon. Hae-in reveals her real name, but tells him to call her whatever he likes. Hyun-yi's eyes sparkle as he says he will call her Hae-in. Hae-in laughs and says she doesn't care what he calls her. They head towards the building's escalators. Hyun-yi explains the company meeting room is under renovation, suggesting they talk in his studio. He needs her to hear a demo. Hae-in is surprised. Hae-in asks if Hyun-yi owns the whole building, but he says he only leases a few offices. Hyun-yi smiles mysteriously. Hyun-yi mentions he wants to buy the building if his label does well. Hae-in is impressed and speechless. Hyun-yi observes Hae-in's reaction to his label, thinking it's lukewarm. He expected her to be more interested in it. Hyun-yi is impressed with Hae-in's seemingly lukewarm reaction. He thinks, looks like she won't be easy to win over. Hyun-yi suggests wrapping up the meeting quickly so Hae-in can nap in the practice room. Hae-in thinks to herself that she's just tired. Hyun-yi offers Hae-in a drink, listing coffee, soda, and beer. Hae-in declines politely, saying she's fine. Hyun-yi laughs and agrees to Hae-in's request. He thinks it makes sense since they both made time for this. Hyun-yi hands over the contract terms. Hae-in considers Hyun-yi holds up the contract as he asks one more question. If we do collaborate. Hae-in reads the contract, concerned. Will I have to do live shows with my face revealed? Hyun-yi gives Hae-in the choice to remain a faceless artist or join him. He has something to say. Hyun-yi admits that commercial success wasn't his only reason. He wants to introduce her talent to the world. Hae-in absorbs everything Hyun-yi is saying, understanding what he expects from her. Hyun-yi asks if they can listen to the demo. Hae-in thought she'd reject if performing live was required, but Hyun-yi is surprisingly flexible. Is it just a trick? Hae-in wonders if Hyun-yi's offer is genuine. She smiles to herself and thinks, okay, I'll play it. The pair is now in Hyun-yi's studio, ready to begin. It's filled with instruments and recording equipment. Hae-in pauses, lost in thought while considering the weight of Hyun-yi's offer. She looks up, calling out to Hyun-yi. Hae-in questions, feeling like she would only be a guest vocalist on an already completed song. Hyun-yi asks, is the song not good? He says it's a collaboration that needs both their styles. Someone yells for the group to step aside. Hae-in allows the person to pass as they carry their guitar. Hae-in declares she'll delete the unnecessary tracks, shocking Hyun-yi. He suggests just muting them, but Hae-in refuses. Delete it all. Hyun-yi panics, yelling not to get rid of the samples he tirelessly collected. Hae-in reflects, but she already has the guitar. Hyun-yi's mind flashes to his fans, hoping they'll like him, not just his songs. Hyun-yi is surprised by Hae-in's sudden decision. He says, I thought you were influenced by shoegaze and post-rock. Hyun-yi states that Hae-in can arrange the song to fit her style instead of compromising. Hyun-yi is fascinated by Hae-in's bold ideas. He muses she is quite an intriguing artist. Heian strums the guitar, declaring she can feel a great song coming. Hyun-yi calls her name. Heian glares suspiciously toward Hyun-yi, unsure if he understands her needs. Hyun-yi calls Heian's name again and asks, "Want me to bring you a beer?" Heian accepts his offer. Sung Hyun-yi instructs Heian to write the first verse lyrics. Heian declares she'll finish the arrangement today. Back in the cafe, Yeon looks defeated. He wonders, can I wrap up this assignment like this? As he stares forlornly into the distance. Yeon, at his computer, feels his work is failing. He decides to take a break from the cafe assignment. Yeon stretches, relieved midterms are ending soon. He realizes he needs to look for a job. Hyun-yi wants to get drinks with Heian. He secretly hopes their collaboration will lead to something more. Hyun-yi thinks about how their schedules need to align. A notification rings, he wonders why it's not on silent. Yeon panics, thinking it would be a disaster if his phone rang in the library. He's shocked by a notification. The studio building shines under the evening sun, hinting at new beginnings. Heian sits at the station, listening to a demo called Collabo Demo on her phone. She writes down lyrical ideas for verse 1 on a notepad. Someone calls out to Heian at the train station. She turns around to see who it is. Yeon is excited, seeing a notification from Kinohu about a new single releasing. Let's hold a party. Heian pauses in shock as the notification reveals Kinohu's upcoming single. What? A listening party. Yeon sees Heian at the train station again. He takes a photo of her. Heian thinks about a listening party. Yeon asks what she means by listening party. Heian explains the concept, a new song movie night. Yeon confesses he's never been to a listening party before, but once tagged along. He grins, holding up his phone. You saw the long afternoon post on Insta today, right? Heian reads the post on Yeon's art account. She thinks, let's all gather at my place that day. Heian thinks the artist needs to be there to discuss the song. Yeon suggests they have fun with drinks anyway. Heian smirks, tilting her head. So that's what this was all about, drinking with me. Yeon is flustered, waving his hands. No, it's not like that. He's excited about her new song. Yeon covers his face, embarrassed, but admits it's a good excuse to spend time with Heian. Heian smiles, replying, fine. She'll check her schedule for that day, April 28th. Heian looks at her calendar app with a concerned look. Ah, that night I have a collab recording session scheduled, don't I? Heian says she'll be recording late on April 28th at the studio. Yeon replies, disappointed, ah, is that so? Heian tells him she'll check if she can reschedule. There's still time. Yeon feels guilty and tells her not to stress. Heian sighs but thinks, even so, that puppy who missed their walk face makes it hard to ignore. Heian thinks to herself that the recording schedule is inflexible and cannot be moved. She starts to feel bad. Yeon leans back, suggesting, let's have a drink another day, if we feel like it. Heian sits next to Yeon on the bench and says, so after midterms. Heian smiles, suggesting they drink when things are less hectic. Yeon shyly agrees, excited for their future plans. At the train station, the announcement says the next train is arriving, a few days later. The professor announces that the exam is over. Yeon stretches, relieved that midterms are finally finished. Yeon thinks he can relax after the exams, but he has one more project to submit. His friend greets him. Yeon thinks about the party but tells his friend he has to work today. He can't skip again. Yeon suddenly remembers it's the release date for Heian's song, Long Afternoon. Yeon smiles at his friend, waving goodbye. In his mind, he decides to listen to Heian's song alone. Someone says, okay, come visit the clubroom sometime. Yeon is happy that Heian's song is released. Yeon laughs, clearly feeling relieved and excited. He rushes out of the station, eager to finally listen to Heian's new song. Yeon bursts out laughing, finally free to celebrate Heian's song release. He's so happy. Yeon sits on his couch, excited to finally listen. All right, let's sit down and listen calmly. What kind of masterpiece will it be? Yeon remembers he barely ate anything all day. My paycheck came in, so fried chicken it is. Yeon texts to have his food delivered to the door. He decides to shower. Yeon steps into the shower, letting the water wash over him, relaxing after a long day. In the shower, Yeon suddenly remembers something. He thinks to himself, that's strange. Yeon stands under the shower thinking, today is full of good things. So why do I feel so lonely? Suddenly the doorbell rings repeatedly, startling Yeon in the shower. Huh, is the food already here? Why do they keep ringing? Yeon throws open the bathroom door furious. Hey, what's going on? I clearly wrote to leave the food at the door. He bursts out of the bathroom. Haein, he shouts in complete shock and surprise at seeing her. Yeon stares at Haein, utterly speechless. Haein pauses, then calmly explains, I came for the music party. Haein holds up a bag of drinks, smiling mischievously. I wanted to come, so I pulled some strings. Yeon, blushing, asks Haein if he came too late to the party. Haein waves off Yeon's apology, insisting she just got home. She invites him in but pauses, looking thoughtful. She asks, Yeonwoo, do you usually? Haein asks Yeonwoo, do you usually stay home in just your underwear? Yeon is shocked by her question. Yeon shouts, flustered, asking Haein to wait while he puts on some clothes. Haein giggles, amused by the situation. Yeon, still wet from the shower, is incredibly flustered by Haein's sudden appearance. Ah, what on earth is happening? Yeon hears his name and responds, while Haein asks to borrow clothes like last time before they drink. Haein coolly asks to shower first, making sure it's okay with a flustered Yeon. The title card shows a scene of friends at a listening party, with the words, people who like listening parties. Haein relaxes in a hot bath, the steam rising around her, washing away the stress. Yeon cleans a table. He's thinking about Haein, remembering the address for the listening party. Yeon remembers that Haein left without a word. He wonders if this means things will change. Yeon thinks to himself that the room smells strange. He thinks about buying a diffuser. Then someone calls out to Yeon. Someone in the bathroom shouts that there is no towel. They ask Yeon to bring one. Yeon says he'll be right there. Yeon quickly grabs a towel. He passes it to the person in the bathroom, responding, here you go. A voice replies, thanks. Yeon's heart pounds. He wonders why he's so nervous. It was just a towel after all. Yeon, still reeling, sits on the floor. I need to calm down, he thinks. Yeon puts on his calming album, a remix of Buddhist chants to ease his nerves. The chanting calms Yeon, almost like meditation. Then a housemate calls for him, asking if the clothes are too big. Haein teases Yeon, saying the shirt she's wearing might slip off any second. Yeon is flustered by her actions. Haein asks if he has anything other than oversized shirts. She smirks suggestively. Yeon's face is red as he stutters, I don't have anything else. Haein playfully demands another shirt, giggling, don't lie, haha, just give me another one quickly. She grabs a jacket, saying, this should work. Haein zips up Yeon's jacket, then compliments his broad shoulders playfully. She says it's loose and impressive. Yeon, surprised, is told, I thought you'd be working late. Haein responds playfully, that's. Haein is in the recording booth at her studio. She listens back to a take. Haein, still in the booth, exclaims she needs to save the recording and start another immediately. Haein will confirm the recording and record it separately, play it from the beginning. A man exclaims that Haein is recording quickly. He usually keeps doing retakes until satisfied. The scene cuts to Jaewon, who is listening to Haein's recordings. He thinks she's delivering perfection as usual. Haein declares, great, my part's done. She asks if anyone needs any directing to guide the recording's approach. Haein's colleague compliments the final recording, suggesting an after-party. Haein declines, saying she has other plans for the day. Someone asks Haein if she's leaving already. Haein says that they can party once the mixing is done. She adds that the drummer already left. Haein announces she is leaving first, telling everyone to be safe. Yeon whips around, surprised, murmuring, what the? He wanted to celebrate Haein's accomplishment with her. Yeon wonders if she has a boyfriend. Haein and Yeon eat chicken together. Haein has changed into his clothes. Haein explains that recording times are unpredictable, they always overbook. Yeon, eating, finds this interesting. Haein asks if they should drink before listening to Long Afternoon's new song. Yeon is surprised at the expensive whiskey. Haein proposes a toast. Yeon replies he will enjoy it. They cheer with their expensive drinks. Yeon gulps down his drink, exclaiming how strong it is. Haein is shocked he finished it so quickly. Haein responds she is fine but worries he may get drunk quickly. Yeon wonders if that's true. Yeon asks if they should start the listening party. Haein suggests they listen on their phones separately since it's late. The song is Blue Smoke. Haein and Yeon decide to start the song at the same time. They press play simultaneously. Haein gets emotional listening to the song. This song, she trails off, lost in thought. Haein listens to the song again, remembering the writing process and arrangement decisions. Haein thinks about how the keyboard may perfectly fit her lyrics. Haein sits alone, quietly overcome with emotion. Just knowing someone out there is listening fills my heart. Haein wonders what Yeon thinks of the song. Another listener exclaims their love. Some do not understand the genius. Yeon thinks holding a small, round object, it's kind of hard to grasp, one or the other. Haein thinks either way it's fine as long as he listens to my music. Still, she wonders if he liked it. Yeon sits contemplating Haein's musical talent. He thinks back to their time together listening to the music. An exclamation point hangs in the air as Haein realizes something is wrong. Is he crying? Haein exclaims the song's over before asking what Yeon was thinking about. He stutters that the lyrics resonated with him. Yeon wipes his eyes, teary and moved. It hit me deeply. Haein drinks, then asks what he thought of the song. Haein is surprised by Yeon's tears, but he's asking, oh. She begins to analyze the song's specific elements. Haein wonders what to say to Yeon. Yeon remembers when he first heard about listening parties. He thought it was too cringeworthy, but now. Yeon exclaims he wants to drink and party recklessly. He smiles to himself, thinking it may be possible. Haein smiles slyly, taking a sip, the blinds close. Ha ha ha, a malicious grin is on her face. Yeon's face is flushed, he's overwhelmed. What should I do, he wonders. Haein's smirk lingers in Yeon's mind. Why do I keep wanting to hold Haein? The comic asks the question, is it true feelings or just whiskey and music? Shin Haein poses for a photo. A collection of KAXS can sit next to an empty cardboard box. The feeling is mutual exactly. Holding a glass, Haein starts to mumble about the Beatles' arrival in America. That's where it all began. Haein bursts out laughing after saying, pay us first. Yeon smiles along, enjoying her happiness. Yeon laughs, saying, oh, that's hilarious. Haein replies, the first pop music I heard was the Beatles because of my uncle. Initially, Haein didn't enjoy the song. She found the lyrics difficult to understand and the sound quality subpar. Haein declares she wants her music heard even by aliens. Aliens? Yeon asks. Haein excitedly claims gill-bearing aliens will devastate the Earth. Yeon laughs, asking if it's a prophecy. Haein jokingly insists it's fact because she's an ancestor. Yeon finds her hilarious. Teasing her, Yeon asks if she has any songs of her own. Haein's eyes widen, my music. Haein's initial excitement fades. Ah well, my songs, she sighs, a blush rising on her cheeks as she confesses, I don't have any yet. Haein sighs, nothing's come out the way I like. Yeon feels it's a shame. Yeon refuses more drinks, claiming he's had too much already. He enjoyed the new Long Afternoon song and the conversation. Someone asks if he is sleepy. Yeon sheepishly admits he stayed up late studying. He tries to hide his embarrassment as Haein looks at him. Yeon suddenly finds himself on top of Haein. He urgently asks, what are you doing? Lying down, Haein decides to write in her journal using the app Letter to the Stars. Write feelings, get stars. Yeon is captivated by the sight. His phone asks, what will you write today? Haein ponders her entry. Haein decides to write that Yeon's thighs have the perfect balance of soft and firm. She'll use them as a pillow tonight. Yeon nervously suggests he has to hug her to sleep. Haein's face is flushed as she asks, really? Haein, still lying down, teases Yeon, not joking. He's blushing as he is asked, are you scared? Haein wonders aloud if Yeon might actually be serious about hugging. Yeon denies any fear, flustered by the situation. Haein tells Yeon he's drunk. He suggests one last drink then sleep. He admits he's feeling sleepy. Yeon, blushing, confesses he wants to sleep holding Haein. Will you let me? He asks, his gaze earnest. Haein challenges Yeon, asking if he'll have the courage to hug her if she says yes. Heian grins, blushing as she offers a hug. Come on, try hugging me, I won't stop you. Yeon is caught by surprise and goes flying backwards with a startled eek. He falls onto the floor. Heian is stunned by Yeon catching her fall. Why Yeon? She asks, her face flushed and surprised. Flustered, Heian mumbles, I don't want to treat you carelessly, Yeon, because I don't want to. Heian, flushed, says, all right, then I'll really let you. Tonight, let's hold on to each other. After some back and forth, Heian embraces Yeon. The two collapse, embracing on the floor. Yeon drifts off to sleep, embracing Heian. Heian stares at him. What? I fell asleep hugging me. Realizing that Yeon did stay up to study and had whiskey, Heian is shocked and gasps. Yeon lies on the floor, asleep. Heian stares at him, thinking about how he must have muscles from lugging around studio equipment. She pauses to take a drink. Yeon is already asleep. Heian wonders how he can make her heart race then fall asleep. She blushes, thinking, still, he said it's okay. Heian embraces Yeon, snuggling closer. She says, ah, your body wash smells so good. Heian snuggles closer to Yeon. She thinks about the scent of fabric softener and whiskey on him. Ah, I'm going crazy. Heian clutches Yeon's shirt as her face flushes again. But, I haven't told you that I'm long afternoon. Yeon thinks to himself that he hasn't shown Heian everything about him. Heian reflects on her feelings. She realizes she may be the real coward. The sun rises as Heian and Yeon sleep soundly, still embraced together. Yeon wakes with a splitting headache. How much did I drink last night? He wonders, lying in bed. Yeon wakes up with a headache. How did I end up in bed? He wonders. He remembers Heian talking about the Beatles. Yeon startles awake. He exclaims, huh, what is this? Why's there? As he looks around, bewildered. Yeon wakes up again, feeling something strange. Why is the blanket so firm? He thinks, confused. He feels something soft. Heian wakes up beside Yeon. She grins at him. Yeon startles, exclaiming, ah, you scared me. Heian asks Yeon if he slept well. She hopes it wasn't too cramped with her. Yeon's face is flushed as he remembers last night. Did I sleep in the same bed as Heian? Heian wakes up and teases Yeon. Good morning, Yeon Woo, she says, grinning mischievously. I didn't do anything right. Heian flips through a magazine. She then dries her hair after a shower. Yeon eats breakfast, still in disbelief. Did I really sleep with Heian yesterday? He thinks, and on the same bed. Don't tell me I did something weird. Heian calls out to Yeon while he is eating breakfast. What's your schedule for today, are you? Yeon says he will eat ramen and leave. Heian says that he looked tired yesterday with a knowing smile. Heian tells Yeon that she has to receive guests from 1 p.m. today. Heian then asks Yeon to stay until then. He responds that he doesn't mind if he stays longer, to which Heian asks why with a smirk. Heian asks if Yeon wants to hang out more. He stutters, claiming it would be troublesome for her. Yeon decides to go home. Heian finishes her meal, mentioning she needs to change. She clarifies it's not because Yeon's place is uncomfortable. Yeon eats breakfast and thinks, my place is closer to her work than I thought. Then Heian ponders, should I tell him to come over and hang out? Yeon is eating breakfast and thinks, why would Heian come over for no reason? There's nothing I can offer. Ah, Yeon Woo-SSI, do you? Heian asks Yeon if he does any workouts. He replies that he does home exercises and runs. Heian says I felt like your body is in good shape, Yeon Woo-SSI. She smirks and says, oh, I see. Heian eats noodles and thinks to herself, when I hugged you last night. Yeon is shocked and thinks, she noticed my body, is this a dream? Yeon is flustered, asking if he hugged Heian. Heian smirks, reminding him she pulled him into a hug yesterday. Yeon is extremely shocked. Heian smiles, confirming he hugged her tightly last night. He asks if she is teasing him. Heian says she didn't think she could sleep, but she fell asleep next to Yeon. Yeon, flustered, wonders if she enjoyed it. Haein smiles, saying it's been a long time. Haein, after eating, says to herself, "Since you hugged so tightly, I realized something." Haein says it was all good for her. She then says she will do the dishes. Yeon is speechless. Later, a jogger wearing a pink hoodie runs past Haein as she walks down the street. An older man walks outside with a woman, seemingly for a morning walk. Yeon is surprised by Haein's teasing. He is thinking about studying. Yeon starts running to improve his stamina. It's for my health, not to impress Haein. Yeon is in denial. Of course, if she likes me, he thinks, flustered. Yeon blushes, remembering Haein's words. He decides to run more and do 1,000 push-ups. Haein hums a tune, casually drawing. Maybe she is thinking of him after all. Haein thinks of posting the caricature of Yeon on her Instagram. Suddenly, Hyunsung startles her. Hyunsung asks Haein why she's so surprised. He wonders if she was watching something inappropriate. Haein says that's his thing. Hyunsung asks why she is so surprised. Haein realizes Idiot Dot has a reservation at 3 p.m. He asks about drinking with Hyunjun yesterday. Hyunsung recalls how the drinking went until dawn with Hyunjun. He remembers Hyunjun wanting him to ask Haein something. What could it be? Hyunsung asked if they were okay with a live clip for the collab song. Haein suggests a music video instead. Hyunsung suggests they can edit the live clip to hide their faces while performing. Haein agrees the concept would be good. Haein thinks video production, things are getting bigger. She wanted to be involved in music production. If I muster up a little courage, I could tell him my feelings. He dreams that if he trains enough and creates something great, she will see him. Yeon thinks that if they don't show his face, he will agree to the video. Yeon walks outside after his workout, muscles aching. I worked out too hard, my muscles are killing me. He thinks he shouldn't overdo it, but today was productive. He even listened to Long Afternoon's new song. Yeon enters the cafe and greets his coworker. He notices that Oyuju isn't there. Where's the boss? He wonders if she went shopping. Later, Yeon is leaving the music studio, buttoning up his shirt. Yes, hello. Yeon puts on his summer uniform and says, I'm taking over now. The coworker says Haein left an hour ago because she felt unwell. Yeon is worried. Yeon and his coworker are ready to work at the cafe. A drink is being prepared. Yeon hears Haein got sick and went to the hospital. He's worried and decides to call her later. Haein tells Yeon to go home, then says it must be hard for him to work alone. He says he'll stay. Won Shin Young offers to help at the cafe since Haein is sick. Yeon is surprised by her kindness. Won Shin Young cheerfully announces that order number 24's adez are ready. Won Shin Young calls out, customer number 15, 2 Americanos with extra shots are ready. A customer receives her drinks. Yeon answers a call from his boss, Oyuju. He downplays his current condition on the phone. Yeon assures her that he is fine, even though he is clearly in a hospital bed. She asks about the shop. Yeon looks away, ending the call, stating, well. The afternoon part-timer, Shin Young, volunteered to stay and help at the cafe. He realizes Shin Young is working 2 shifts in a row and sighs. I told her it'd be tough. Yeon answers that he will do as she says and plans on going to the cafe after some tests. Yeon is relieved to hear Shin Young is managing the cafe well. Shin Young SSI, he hears her voice. Shin Young is being offered extra pay to work, but Oyuju tells her not to overdo it. Shin Young assures him not to worry, she works out and is strong. Yeon laughs, haha, thanks, good at that. Yeon thinks her energy is good and working with her is not awkward. He is going to do a quick round. Shin Young says got it. Shin Young tells Yeon that he can drop the honorifics because he's older. Shin Young smiles, making a peace sign as she says, I'm 23. Yeon ponders the decision to leave the hospital, thinking, should I? Yeon takes out the cafe's trash. He thinks, Shin Young SSI, she's really sociable. Yeon reflects on Shin Young, remembering, it's our first day, but she told me to drop honorifics. He wonders when he began distancing himself and calculating the lifespan of relationships. Young yells that there is a problem, calling him Opa again. Yaon looks surprised. Huh. Young tells Yaon that they received a huge order for delivery, 15 drinks and 15 sandwiches. Yaon starts to prepare the sandwiches. They say trouble comes all at once. Do we have enough ingredients? Yaon thinks to himself, troubles come in at the worst times. Good thing Young stayed behind. He reflects that he worried about her since she had only worked there for 2 months. Young screams his name about the dispenser. Yaon rubs his shoulder, feeling the strain. Ha, this is rough. Young says that, since the cafe is full, she can stay and help. Young waves goodbye cheerfully after an exhausting shift at the cafe, saying, good job today. Yaon waves goodbye to Young as she leaves the cafe. Yeah, you too. Yaon smiles and thinks, all right, time to start closing. I can handle the earnings processing myself. Yaon thinks about Young's work ethic. He can't help but smile at her dedication. Yaon pauses in his thoughts, wondering, come to think of it, how old is Heian SSI? Oyuju stares off into space in the train station. But I'm curious, I'm 39. Yaon suddenly stops, realizing something important. Down below, he sees Heian at the station. Suddenly, Yaon sees Heian and stumbles in shock. Ah, you're joking, right? Oyuju exclaims that she lied about her age. She asks if Yaon really thought she looked 39. Yaon awkwardly laughs. Oyuju coyly says it's not exactly a secret about her age, with a sly smirk. Is it a secret? Oyuju asks if he thinks she's an old woman hiding behind makeup. Then why do you want to know? Yaon rethinks his question about Heian's age, regretting his nosiness. Yeah, I guess it doesn't. Why does it even matter? Oyuju thinks she was too blunt about her age, only intending to tease Yaon a little bit. All right, I'll tell you. Heian tells Yeon that from now on, he should address her more formally. Yeon is stunned. Heian is much younger than he originally thought. Oyuju continues, feeling happy. She likes that it makes her feel respected as an adult. Heian misunderstands why he's so interested in her age. Oh, do you like role-playing like that? Heian finds it endearing when Yeon addresses her formally. He blushes, realizing her charm gets to him. She jokingly agrees to continue the formal address, saying it's not hard or anything. She asks how old he is. Heian then reveals her age, 21. Yeon is shocked since he is 25 years old himself. Yeon is taken aback, exclaiming that she's already working and should be much older. Heian says she didn't go to college. Heian reveals that she's working despite being of college age. She got a job as soon as she was an adult. Heian replies that she learned how to make drinks from her uncle. The train is arriving at the station. Heian lines on Yeon, cementing their agreement to continue using formal honorifics. Heian calls him Yeonwoo Oppa, asking if he got the message. He laughs awkwardly. Heian touches Yeon's face affectionately, a playful smile gracing her lips. The scene cuts to a quiet cafe. Several people are relaxing and working alone. One Shin Young sighs, exhausted after her break. She debates getting a massage before returning to work. Yeon suggests more rest. Yeon mentions that Shin Young only thinks about money and will die early. She doesn't care and says that she's scared of money. They know she's struggling, but she's still new. At least her personality makes up for it. Oyuju is glad that Yeon is here. Without him, she wouldn't have rested easily. Yeonwoo blushes at Oyuju's earlier words, finding it too cheesy. Oyuju asks if he's busy on his next day off. Yeon pauses for a moment after hearing Oyuju's question. He grins slyly and asks if she wants to eat beef. Yeon is confused by the sudden beef offer. Oyuju says it's for appreciation for a hard day. Shin Young wants cash instead. Yeon begs Oyuju to hang out with him for beef, but Oyuju sighs in response. He suggests grilling at home instead. Yeon cries out wanting a barbecue restaurant. Grilling meat alone is too depressing and miserable, he thinks while doing dishes. After contemplating, Yeon agrees to eat together. He admits he doesn't have any plans anyway. Yeon hesitates, unsure of what to say next about the sudden dinner offer. He looks towards Oyuju for guidance. Yeon asks Shin Young to watch the counter. The cafe is empty. A song plays on his phone. Yeon listens to Cola Boy with a critical ear, comparing its quality. Yeon thinks that Heian's mix has each instrument's unique touch. It brings out a retro vibe of Long Afternoon. Yeon is stuck. He likes both mixes of the song and can't pick one. Time to listen on better monitors. A photo is taken. Yeon worries about being photographed in the cafe. It's happening more often. Yeon realizes the girl is likely taking photos of him for her own reasons. He decides to leave quietly. Yeon confronts the girl, frustrated that she's been secretly taking photos. Yeon glares at the girl. He says he's worried about the privacy of other customers. The girl nervously denies taking a picture of another customer. She claims he's famous. Yeon angrily reminds her of privacy. The girl insists she's a customer too. Yeon points out she hasn't even ordered anything yet. The cafe owner confronts the girl. She explains that she doesn't like people bothering other customers. The girl angrily vows to give the cafe 1-star reviews and ruin its reputation online. The girl walks away and Oyuju thanks her for understanding. The cafe owner says she deals with troublemakers often. The cafe owner tells Yeon not to worry and to make sure to come again. It doesn't matter if he is famous. Yeon asks if she likes cappuccinos. Heian confirms she does. He wonders if they'll meet again. Someone enters the cafe, seemingly disrupting the peace. Yeon finds the situation to be annoying and sighs with frustration. He is now worried. Yeon gets praised for handling the troublesome customer. Oyuju remarks how cool he was, but Yeon doesn't agree. Yeon advises Oyuju not to live like him because it's stressful. Oyuju replies he's craving sirloin now. With the details worked out, they confirm the time and location. It's a date. Yeon is waiting at the train station and seems lost in thought. He wonders to himself what is happening. Yeon checks his phone for job openings. He sees that summer internship applications have just started. Yeon sighs, wondering why he is out and stressing when he should be relaxing. Things are going according to plan. Yeon applies for summer internships, hoping his efforts lead to something. He listens to Long Afternoon. He is surprised to hear Long Afternoon on a public Spotify indie music playlist. Oyuju greets Yeon at the train station, noting he's early. Yeon seems surprised and calls out Shin Young's name. Two figures arrive. Yeon is surprised and wonders if Haein will be coming too. He didn't know. Oyuju notes that Shin Young also had a rough day and deserves beef. Haein shows up to greet Yeonwoo. Yeon is surprised to see them but still smiles. All right, let's head out for our beef party. Shin Young is determined to eat all of the beef she can. She clasps her hands excitedly. Haein excitedly grabs Yeon's arm, eager to eat the beef. She exclaims how long it's been. Haein links her arm with Yeon's, giggling happily. Yeon is flustered by the sudden contact, wondering to himself why she linked arms. Yeon feels a strange, inexplicable sensation despite only planning a simple dinner. Yeon and Haein are silhouetted as they stand together, surrounded by guitars. Haein hums a tune while holding her guitar, lost in musical thought. She begins writing down chords. Haein is worried the guitar chords she is writing don't sound good. She wonders if it is because she's hungry. The chapter opens with Haein listening to music. Meanwhile, the cafe workers share a meal together after closing. Back at the cafe, one Shin Young savors some beef after a long and tiring shift. Despite telling them to eat faster, the cafe workers are already digging in. Someone asks for another bottle of soju. The others worry about Yeon's recent hangover, but he brushes it off. One Shin Young smiles slyly at Yeon, saying, "You're here, aren't you?" Yeon replies, "I'm not taking care of you." Someone adds, "You two are really close." Someone asks if the two knew each other before. They clarify that they just worked together for a while. They sometimes grab a meal. She muses, "He lives alone and I do too, so on our days off we'd hang out." "Oh, I see." Yeon argues it's nonsense to assume they're dating just because they ate together. Someone interjects with, "But it was just you two." The workers continue to tease Yeon and one Shin Young as they eat together. Yeon laughs awkwardly at the joke. The woman asks Yeon if he lives alone, addressing him as Oppa. She follows up by jokingly suggesting he doesn't have a girlfriend. Flustered, Yeon admits he lives alone and doesn't have a girlfriend. The woman teasingly asks if he's seeing someone. Someone wonders aloud, "Really, who is it? Is it someone I know?" Yeon thinks to himself that despite the teasing, they aren't really dating. They don't even have each other's numbers. While everyone else is joking around, Yeon looks at his drink and thinks about Haein. "I'd say she's someone I want to keep talking to." Someone notices that Haein's glass is empty and suggests another round of drinks to the group. Another person offers Haein's coworker another round of soju. He smirks and accepts the drink, saying, "Ah, yeah, thanks." The cafe owner suddenly raises his glass with a serious expression. The others look surprised by his sudden movement. The cafe owner enthusiastically suggests that they should drink until they drop. Someone agrees it sounds great. Meanwhile, at the studio, Haein is practicing guitar, but something seems off. This isn't right. Haein contemplates the song structure when Yeon calls out to her. He bursts in and asks what they should eat for dinner. Yeon wonders if Haein is okay laying on the floor with her guitar. She denies practicing. Yeon states that Haein used to write smoothly. Haein says that it happens sometimes. Haein admits that she really wants to write a proper song. Yeon stares at her silently. Yeon suggests, "How about we eat out to clear your head?" Haein asks what about the studio. He assures her his friends can cover. Yeon thinks eating out and people watching could give Haein song ideas. She agrees to go, and Yeon suggests picking the menu right away. Haein seems to be back in the studio at her drum kit. Okay. Meanwhile, a flushed Yeon stumbles down the street with a bottle of alcohol. I'm so lonely tilde. Someone chides the cafe owner. "There you go again, you promised not to regret it." Yeon apologizes for suggesting another round, as the other has a lecture tomorrow. Yeon drunkenly says he's also had too much to drink and is bored. He complains that someone didn't buy him any expensive drinks. Someone grabs Yeon's jacket collar. You're gonna drink alone, are you okay? Yeon assures the man that he'll be fine because he knows the bar owner. He waves goodbye to the other guy, drunk. Yeon seems worried, thinking Haein will collapse again. He's concerned even though she says she's fine. Yeon checks his watch with a start. Where should we go? Haein asks. Yeon is surprised by the question. A tipsy one Shin Young suggests, how about just one more drink? Yeon replies confused, didn't you say you were full earlier? One Shin Young suggests one more light drink before heading home together. She tells Yeon, I actually wanted to talk with you more. Yeon pauses, well, I'm a bit tired. Haein stays silent but she looks back up at him. One Shin Young asks, don't tell me, you're thinking about that person you're seeing. Yeon continues, pointing out that they haven't confessed or even dated. He warns one Shin Young about getting hurt. Yeon remembers Shin Young's words. He wants to be serious about Haein. Instead of answering one Shin Young, Yeon reaches for Haein's hand. Yeon thinks that he prefers to be straightforward, even if his heart breaks later. Shin Young apologizes. One Shin Young declares, Oppa, you're seriously such a great guy. She then adds, don't. One Shin Young states that she just wanted to be closer with Yeon as friends. She also invites him to drink with the boss. He supports the tipsy one Shin Young as they walk to the station. She's completely drunk, he thinks. Dealing with drunk people is exhausting. At the train station, Yeon waits. He sees Haein with her guitar case again. Yeon and one Shin Young arrive at the station. Haein is also there, waiting for her train. Yeon spots Haein at the station after separating from one Shin Young. What the? That was Haein. Before Yeon and Haein ran into each other, she guided her uncle around. Yeon is now being attacked by a surge of mana, as he yells out in a panic. The mana surges around Yeon as he struggles. He shouts for help, revealing a deep fear of drowning. Yeon is struggling in the overwhelming mana, screaming in terror. As someone stirs a drink with a straw, a voice cries out. As someone stirs a drink with a straw, a voice cries out from within the mana surge. Suddenly a voice booms out, Yeonwoo, did you make 2 blue moon aids for table 13? Before he can finish, a loud, angry voice stops him. Why is it taking so long? Oyuju yells at Yeon to throw out the trash and get some fresh air. If he zones out, she will hit him. Yeon takes out the trash, looking exhausted. What's wrong with me all day today? He sighs. Yeon recalls Haein with someone's arm around her shoulder. They must be dating. He imagines Haein laughing with someone happy and carefree. Yeon lowers his head, feeling disheartened. Yeon thinks, what the hell, you told me you didn't have anyone. Images of Haein with others flash through his mind. His memories of Haein crash down on him as if hit by a hammer. Standing by the overflowing trash bags, Yeon's thoughts continue to cloud his mind. Yeon slams the trash bag down, frustrated. This is why it's frustrating, people's feelings. He admits, I was fine just talking with her, but I want her now. Yeon's conflicted emotions are set to music, as the city glows in the night. Haein sits alone in a room wrapped in music. She appears thoughtful, lost in her own world. The man asks about the remix. It was made using Haein's version. Haein replies, yeah, well, it's nice. Then she asks, I also made a test version, wanna listen? I highlighted long afternoon more. Haein says, whatever, just do as you like. You're good at this even without my input. Yeon calls out to Haein as she begins to leave. Wait a second, hey in SSI. A voice echoes, asserting the importance of professionalism and responsibility in their project. Yeon thinks to himself, we can't afford to give anything less than our best. Haein apologizes, admitting she wasn't fully committed to the project. She feels somewhat guilty about her approach. He continues, of course, as a producer, that's my professional stance. A man notices Haein's gloomy expression. Did something bad happen? You've looked off all day, he asks. As the train departs with an unknown woman, Haein chews on her lip, contemplating something deeply. Suddenly snapping, Haein expresses extreme frustration at her internal conflict with a loud cry. Haein's outburst continues, so frustrating, I really don't understand people. She is overwhelmed. The man looks surprised and confused, asking, what do you mean? Heian continues her emotional rant. Heian is conflicted, thinking, then act completely different behind your back. That person. I believed he wouldn't deceive me. Heian expresses, I don't really know, but when you meet people. The panel gives the advice. Even if you think you know how deep it is, you can't be sure. Heian reflects on what she said but comes to another conclusion. Sung Hyun Yessi is right. Heian reflects, even if I get my hopes up, people never act how I want. And because that scares me. Yeon reflects, was I just spending time with Yeon Woo SSI? Heian continues to clench her fists, overwhelmed by frustration and anger. She feels like screaming. Heian thinks, and yet I still want to see that stupid face again. She descends the subway stairs. Yeon walks towards the subway platform, a determined look on his face. He notices Heian at the train station and calls out to her, Hey in SSI. He questions if she'll stop talking to him because of her boyfriend. Fine then, he mutters, resigned. Yeon appears shocked by Heian's outburst. A speech bubble reads, let's talk. Heian simply asks what Yeon wants to talk about, but he suddenly asks, hey in SSI, do you have a boyfriend? Heian looks at Yeon, confused, as she repeats, I told you I don't, didn't I? Heian is confronted about her supposed boyfriend. I saw you walking arm in arm with a guy last time. Heian says that was probably her uncle. Yeon is surprised. What kind of uncle looks that young, she asks. She appears angry. Heian asks if Yeon doesn't have a girlfriend. She mentions seeing him arm in arm with a girl the other day. He realizes that the woman she was with was just a coworker. Heian retorts, oh, so going on dates alone was also on her own. Heian retorts with whatever, stop talking. She accuses Yeon of not believing her, calling the conversation pointless. Heian is shocked and is at a loss for words. She didn't expect Yeon's sudden outburst at all. The train arrives as Heian thinks to herself, that's not what I meant. Yeon shouts then. He suddenly pulls Heian into an embrace, yelling, just waste tonight on me. Yeon declares he'll prove he's being real. He's determined and looking at Heian. Yeon's sudden confession surprises Heian. She struggles to comprehend his actions, questioning him. Heian and Yeon walk together. My bias gets on the last train. Yeon stops at the convenience store. He wonders if he should buy 2 or 4 cans of beer. Yeon ponders whether to buy canned or bottled beer. He imagines watching Kim Yoon's drama with it. Yeon grabs just 1 can of beer. He pauses for a moment, then puts it back. No. Yeon sighs as he walks alone. He thinks getting older and his hangovers lasting longer is depressing. Yeon thinks that having money won't let him eat what he wants. He's surprised someone called him boss. Yeon waves at Heian in surprise. Heian asks Yeonwoo, what the why are you here? Heian wonders if Yeon missed the train. Yeon dismisses her question, claiming he needs to check something. Yeon nervously introduces Heian to Oyuju, the cafe owner he works for. Heian greets Yeon with a simple hello. Yeon, flustered, manages a nice to meet you. He realizes Heian is the girl Yeon always sees on the last train. Not the style I expected, but she is pretty. The owner Oyuju comments, I can see why Yeonwoo would be interested. He pats Yeon on the head, asking about a company dinner. Oyuju asks if Shinyoung was just a coworker. Yeon is a bit nervous. Oyuju looks at Yeon and asks, right, what's with Yeonwoo, this guy? Oyuju smiles slyly, understanding the situation. He recalls the time Yeon and Heian spoke on the platform. The comic highlights how little Yeon and Heian interact despite being around each other. It's just brief shift handovers. Heian suddenly remembers the scene from the station platform. From what I saw, they were linking arms. Yeon touches his face, dazed by the memory. Heian is too friendly, it makes him uneasy. Oyuju grins, pressing Yeon about his encounter with Heian, right. Yeon thinks Heian grew up in an affectionate household. It's just her habit of being so friendly. Heian crosses her arms. Well, I guess I'll believe you since it's your boss. Yeon thanks the person offering a ride. Want me to give you 2 a ride? Yeon observes that the buses and subways have stopped running. Heian teases, offering a ride. Yeon firmly refuses. Yeon stares, confused, as Heian declares he's going with her. She says, there's somewhere we need to go together, this time. Yeon resolves, it's my turn to prove it. Haein arrives at the station and apologizes for being late. Yeon is flustered and denies it, but Haein grabs his shirt. Follow me, Yeonwoo, he concedes with an, ah yes. Yeon is overwhelmed by Haein's actions. He sighs, admitting to himself, ah, I can't take it anymore. Yeon is outside the convenience store and wants only one can of beer. He wonders when his turn will come. Haein is seen walking through her neighborhood at night. She is heading home. Yeon's character is defeated in the game. Haein sighs in frustration, oh come on. Yeon's eyes are strained as he plays a game. I can't take this anymore, damn it. Someone rings the doorbell. Haein is surprised watching TV at this hour. Who's there? The man is shocked to see Haein here with him and the cafe owner. The man is surprised to see her. He affirms that she's his niece. Haein aggressively asks why people keep asking if Yeon is her boyfriend. Yeon laughs, thinking his youthful appearance caused the misunderstanding. Haein teases him, calling him an old sugar daddy. The comic shows an image of two different times, then a voice emphasizes their similarity. Haein looks agitated, asking why he's being so passive. He ponders his thoughts. Yeon's lips curve into a smirk as his mind races. He silently contemplates things. The uncle questions who Yeon is to Haein. Yeon, flustered, wonders why he'd jumped to that conclusion. Hyunsung asks if Yeon is Haein's boyfriend. Yeon stutters, flustered. He awkwardly tries to explain his curiosity. Haein scolds her uncle to stop saying weird things. He asks how Haein and Yeon will get home. Haein suggests they figure something out. She proposes taking a taxi or walking. He notes late-night surcharges. Hyunsung tells Haein and Yeon to wait there. Hyunsung insists he'll drive them home. Haein raises an eyebrow, confused. Drive, but you don't have a car. Hyunsung tells them he knows someone nearby and can borrow a car. Haein suddenly remembers her uncle. Ah, wait, uncle. Haein is annoyed that her uncle is so insistent on giving them a ride. I should be grateful he's giving me a ride. Yeon thinks to himself, I don't know what to say, wandering around just causing trouble. Yeon is frustrated and thinks he is pathetic. He realizes he isn't even Haein's boyfriend. Haein asks if Yeon feels the chilly night air. Yeon looks up at her, confused by her sudden question. Yeon tries to rationalize it, saying it is still spring. Haein insists they should make up. Back at the station, a man waits with a bag while thinking of Haein's words. I just want to go inside. Yeon imagines Haein saying to sit in a warm room and have fun talking with you. They stand close, their shoulders nearly touching as they walk along the street. Haein asks Yeon why he isn't holding her hand, following up with the question of them making up. Haein claps Yeon's hand, saying they need to make up. Yeon thinks he should dive under the covers and hide. She admits she should have taken the lead and apologizes for doubting him. Yeon looks surprised as Haein grabs his hand, finally making up with him. Haein playfully remarks on Yeon's hand size as she holds his hand. Yeon is surprised by her comment. Yeon, seemingly unbothered, asks if she can stretch her fingers far enough to play guitar chords. Haein retorts, questioning if Yeon thinks she's playing piano on the guitar. Yeon is shocked by her piano claims. Yeon says it's insane and Haein responds, saying she will show him later. Haein then asks if they should go inside. Haein teasingly says they should wait until her uncle arrives. Yeon smiles and agrees with her suggestion. Haein asks Yeon what her uncle does for work. Yeon tells her that he owns the studio. Yeon tells her to relax on the beanbag and wonders if there's any drink. Yeon remembers that Haein's uncle used to be in a band, thinking back on the music studio. Yeon notices a game console and admits he has always wanted one. He wonders if Haein has been here often. Haein peeks in the fridge, wondering about all the leftover takeout. Yeon imagines her as a beautiful young girl. Haein wonders aloud if Yeon was popular back in school, wanting to see the photos. She's dug something up. Yeon gives Haein lukewarm apple juice. She says thanks as they sit down next to each other. Are they dating? Yeon asks why they are sitting so close. Haein says there is only one beanbag. He moves to the floor. Haein leans on Yeon's shoulder, remarking how much more comfortable it is. She says stay still. Yeon looks nervous while Haein seems calm. The moment hangs in the air as Yeon finally asks, so, should we then? Haein asks if it's uncomfortable. Yeon agrees it's not, taking a sip. Haein explains the beanbag is old. Yeon thinks it feels like Haein is loading as she sips her drink. Haein thinks it's her fault they're here so late. She wants to take responsibility and close the distance. Haein suddenly asks why Yeon is staring at her. He gets flustered and nervously stutters a response. Haein drinks while explaining that her uncle cared for her when she was little. Her parents were busy and she was alone. Haein recalls how her uncle would visit and play guitar for her. She laughs, reminiscing. Yeon takes a drink, his heart pounding in his chest. What will she say? Yeon thinks back to when Haein's uncle called out to her. She looks very close to her uncle. Haein pauses, confused, while scrolling through her phone. Yeon looks at Haein with bewilderment, wondering what's going on. They are sitting close together. Yeon asks if it's fine, but Haein doesn't agree, liking the current space. Yeon suddenly complains he doesn't like doing what Haein likes. He admits he wants to do what he wants to do. Haein stares at Yeon, her mind racing, wondering why he's acting so strange. Haein internally labels Yeon as unnecessarily cute and wonders why he's whining like a puppy. She agrees to compromise only 10 times. Yeon internally shouts, "Yes, got it," reminding himself not to cross the line and only think of Haein. Suddenly Haein grabs Yeon's hand. "What are you doing? Why all 10 at once?" Haein explains it's embarrassing and childish. Yeon wonders to himself if Haein didn't like it. Haein's eyes widen slightly as she stares into the distance, lost in thought. Haein's sudden question, "Then it's my turn now, right?" catches Yeon completely off guard. Suddenly, Haein gets irritated, questioning why Yeon keeps repeating her name. She demands to know why he's copying her. Haein wonders if Yeon doesn't like her plan. She calls out his name. He's shocked. Yeon is taken aback, flustered by Haein's outburst. He questions his own intentions. Yeon's heart races as Haein continues to call his name. He's getting excited. Haein is lost in thought as she looks on. Floats in her speech bubble, she's confused. Haein sits thinking deeply as a message appears. When meeting people, don't dive in too deep. The narrator explains that understanding someone's heart is like guessing the depth of a river. You can't be sure. She reflects on the difficulties of understanding others. She doesn't want to get hurt again. Yeon pauses, collecting his thoughts. Yeonwoo, Haein's expression softens as he musters the courage to speak. Haein suddenly announces, "I've been betrayed before." Yeon is taken aback, responding with a bewildered, "What?" She remembers being betrayed as the scene shifts to her and Yeon. The word betrayed echoes. Haein is caught off guard as someone yells her name and tells her they are filming. She stares back, questioning the situation. Haein remembers she hasn't posted on TikTok in a while and maybe she should start posting again. Haein argues back, saying she should sing whatever she wants for her TikTok. After consideration, she decides on a popular song to sing. Haein starts to record her TikTok video. Haein begins to play the guitar for her TikTok, excited to post for her fans. Haein stops mid-strum. 3 figures emerge from the practice room, approaching her with excited smiles. The scene changes. Haein is sitting next to someone who asks, "You say you were betrayed." The person next to Haein asks about high school. She remembers having close friends back then. Haein pauses, unsure how to word her past. She remembers an event with Yeon. The person suggests she doesn't need to go into detail, just say what she can for today. The person smiles gently, offering Haein comfort. "I'll always be here to listen when you're ready," they say, showing empathy. Haein recalls her first friends, reflecting on their initial kindness and support. Haein thought her friends backed her dreams as she played them her songs. Haein's memories take a darker turn. Her initial friends may not have been as supportive as she remembers. Haein's smile fades. She sees her friends in the background hanging out without her. Haein clutches a phone. "I don't know why, but," she begins, a dark look on her face. Haein scrolls through hateful comments. Her so-called friends ridiculed her online, their words dripping with venom. Heian covers her face as she remembers their mocking words. They said I had no talent. Their words still echoed, called me a failure. Sometimes she gets trapped in dark thoughts. Heian sinks further into herself, those anxious thoughts consuming her. What are they really thinking? Yeon narrows his eyes looking at Heian's arm. He finally realizes that's why. The person holds Heian's hands, reassuring her, even though you went through that, you told me all this. Thank you. Yeon says he enjoys seeing Heian and talking about long afternoon. He's glad she shared her story with him. Heian pauses, processing Yeon's words. After a brief silence, she quietly says his name. Yeon is shocked. He recalls seeing Heian getting bullied. Heian even had to give the bullies her money. He can't believe what they did to her. Heian's perspective shifts, thinking about the Yeonwoo SSIIC. Yeon smiles brightly, finally understanding Heian. He can't believe how strong she is for opening up. Heian smirks, caught off guard. You don't even need to say it. Yeonwoo SSI, it's all over your face. Heian responds that Yeon can't hide anything based on his expressions. He is surprised. Yeon questions Heian's poker face. She says maybe he can test it, looking directly at him. Yeon questions if Heian wants to test him. Heian has a devious idea. Heian tells Yeon that she can tell everything just by looking at his face. He is puzzled, responding with, Yeon is startled by Heian. He thinks it's dangerous, they're too close. My arm. Yeon is flustered as Heian gets closer to him. He turns away, exclaiming he can't do the test like this. Heian smiles mischievously, telling Yeon to wait. She has something planned for their little test. Heian is shocked by her sudden realization. What's that? She questions. Heian suddenly recalls her uncle and says he should be here. She's going downstairs to check for him. Heian realizes Yeon is an honest person, showing his true feelings without pretense. His actions speak louder than words. Yeon tilts his head, confused by Heian's sudden mention of her uncle. Huh, what do you mean? The sudden shift startles Yeon. The words rush through his mind as he tries to process the change. What? Yeon realizes that he is doomed. I wore loose pants, aha. Yeon is completely flustered, realizing he can't handle Heian's playful teasing. Heian walks out of the room. Heian says they were just linking arms. She is still blushing at the close proximity. It had an impressive effect in many ways. Yeon is internally screaming as he thinks about Heian. He can't help but get flustered over her. Heian sits in the car, flustered. The driver asks, why are you two so quiet? Did you fight again? The group discusses whose car it is and if they can borrow it. The driver replies it is Dong Cheol's car. Yeon asks Heian's friend, Yeonwoo, right? The other man in the car confirms with a simple, yes. Yeon invites Heian and their friends to the rock festival with the free tickets. Heian questions what a rock festival is. Heian recalls being told you can camp, drink, and have fun at the rock festival. Yeon is speechless as Heian leaves. The driver asks if he wants to listen to Yeon as a warm-up. The group finally decides on a song to play. Yeon reflects Summer, huh? Yeon thinks about going to the rock festival. This year I'll probably have little time with job hunting. Yeon is lying down, staring at his phone. He scrolls through fan art and comments on his artwork. Yeon enters the cafe, declaring, boss, I'm here. He is greeted with a welcome Yeonwoo. Yeon returns to work, greeted with sly teasing about the night before. Ah yeah, well, He replies, this feels like it's going to be a hassle. Oyuju grins, handing Yeon a drink. Here, drink this, she insists, a knowing glint in her eye. Oyuju slyly offers Yeon a drink, a new recipe she's made. And spill the tea, she adds, wanting to know what happened last night. One Shin Young demands the details of what happened. Yeon replies awkwardly stating, we just made up normally and that was it. Shin Young pokes fun at Yeon, doubtful. Oh, come on, who makes up normally? There had to be bickering, she asks if he's heading home. Shin Young insists she heard the story. Yeon, flustered, takes a drink, insisting that there is no story. Haein sighs, playfully acknowledging his teasing. Yes, yes, I heard you loud and clear, sir. Yeon looks caught off guard, muttering. Haein giggles, realizing she left an order unprocessed at the end of her shift. Yeonwoo oppa, could you handle it for me? Yeon hears Haein's parting words and is surprised by her sudden departure. What? How can you tell me this now, seriously? Yeon brings drinks to table 21, adding in a free cookie. Oh, tilde, thank you, the customer replies. Yeon sighs in relief. Phew, tilde got through that smoothly, that was close. Yeon turns to someone off-panel, yelling, hey, Arion, take this. He tosses something at them. Back at the cafe, two figures watch Yeon. They are talking about Haein and Yeon and their potential relationship. A figure stands in the bright light, smirking slightly. Another figure watches them carefully, standing behind. He calls for Arion but is immediately questioned. What's wrong? Did those people talk badly about you? Yeon is thinking, I just glanced over because they had the same name as someone I know. One of the employees says, oh, I thought it was something serious, and walks off. He tells Yeon to spill the story when he gets back. Yeon tries to dismiss his worries about the name. He decides it was nothing and moves on. Yeon thinks of Haein, remembering their shared past. That person means nothing to me. The customers call for Yeon and place their order. Ah, yes, Yeon replies. A few days later, Yeon is running through the station, looking for someone. Yeon sighs, exhausted after work. Another day over, he thinks to himself, waiting at the station. Yeon realizes he needs to stop by the night market. He needs food, breakfast, and tissues. He sighs, thinking of the errands he has to run. Whatever. Yeon waits for his train, tired and nervous for his upcoming internship. Yeon asks Haein why she ran from the party. Haein admits she doesn't like noisy places. Haein smokes, finding small talk annoying. She'd rather be alone than deal with that. Haein looks at Yeon expectantly. Is that so? Then can you stay by my side? Yeon looks thoughtful, then Haein is shown smoking. Is she really that annoyed by other people? Haein offers Yeon a cigarette, asking want to smoke. Yeon hesitates, considering Haein's offer. He takes the cigarette she offers him, a thoughtful expression on his face. Yeon and Haein are surprised, their names being called out unexpectedly. Yeon and Haein jolt in surprise as someone calls their names. Haein then asks Yeon if he fell asleep. Yeon wipes his eyes, now awake on the train station bench. What was that dream just now? Yeon sees Haein and blurts out her name, a big smile on his face. He excitedly asks, want to see something cool? Yeon shows Haein his phone, highlighting Long Afternoon being featured on the music app he uses. This is the overseas music app I use. Yeon excitedly shares that Long Afternoon is featured in a popular music playlist. He looks down at his phone with a hopeful smile. It'd be great if it keeps gaining popularity. Haein leans closer, asking, what is it? Haein smiles slyly. No, it's nothing, I was just watching your expression. Haein suddenly asks Yeon if he carries his phone everywhere. Yeon, surprised, asks her why she asks. Flashback to Haein telling him to keep something close. Yeon wonders why she brought it up all of a sudden. Haein sees the train arriving. Did she hear about some incident or something? She wonders. Yeon wakes up in his room, the sunlight shining through his window. Yeon returns home after a long day and wipes his sweat, sighing. Yeon starts putting away his groceries. It's been a while since I stocked up the fridge. He wonders where to put something. Yeon stares at a drink he pulled from the fridge. Will Haein ever come over again? Yeon is startled by the memory. Wait, when did Haein ask if I carry my phone? Yeon suddenly realizes why Haein asked about his phone. You idiot, Why did I only realize that now? Yeon is caught off guard by his own thoughts, a sudden realization hitting him. Next time we meet, I have to ask for her number first. Yeon wonders aloud about a notification. It's a live, long afternoon broadcast on Instagram. Yeon sits up confused by the sudden notification. What? Out of nowhere, they've never done anything like this. Yeon thinks about fans never seeing them together. Now, Jaitun Hingseong Deep Planet is live, is that her? Haein is strumming her ukulele, she's going live. They're doing a live performance. Haein thinks to herself with a slight smirk,